So you stayed awake. Well done. France against Belgium. Mark Donaldson, Mark Ogden, Stevie Nicol. To look back on what was one of the more eagerly awaited knockout games, Stevie Nicol, and France and Belgium produced to lay an egg. It wasn't great. France don't care. They're through. What are your thoughts on what you watched?
Well, I think Belgium sat back and basically said, okay, France, you're going to have to come and beat us in the first half. And France don't like doing that. You know, they like to be on the other side of it. They like to have a good solid base and then break on you. And of course, we ended up with a bit of a stalemate. You know, Kevin De Bruyne sitting in front of the back four, which if you're going to play that the way they did, I don't think it was that bad of a move. It just so happened that any chance or any possession that Belgium had, the balls to Openda and Lukaku were awful. And so basically France just territorially completely dominated that first half. Now, the truth is, it was anything but fun or good to watch. I mean, there was really no chances for anybody. And at half-time, it was like, this can only get better. I think it did get better, but it got better because after about an hour, Belgium tried to make an attempt to go and score a goal and maybe try and win this game, which gave France a little bit more space. France ended up with a lot more shots. Unfortunately, the majority of those shots were high and wide and certainly not handsome. So, yeah, I mean, it really wasn't great to watch. In fact, I would say that Belgium probably had the better chances. Casteels made a good save from an Mbappe strike. But after that, there was no real... I don't remember making another save. Magnan, on the other hand, had two pile drivers to save from Lukaku and from De Bruyne. And probably the best chance of the game fell to Belgium, who I think it was Castagna was clean through. And Fernandez made an incredible tackle. Sorry, it was Carrasco. Was clean through. Yeah. Took too long. And Fernandez made a fantastic save, probably about, 12 yards out. So Belgium probably the best chance of the game. I mean, as far as the overall game's concerned, I think France deserved to win it.
Yes.
But, yeah, this is not what we thought we were going to get.
Okay, the onus is not on France to entertain us. The onus is on them to get through. They do it well, don't they? They find a way. And there was a graphic that popped up just after the 70th minute mark, and it said they'd had 17 shots to that point and just one on target. And Stevie mentioned that a lot of them were from distance. Didier Deschamps and his players won't care, will they?
Well, Didier Deschamps won't care. I think his players might, because it can't be very enjoyable to play. You know, they've got so many great players there that are great creative players with flair players, you know, Mbappe, Griezmann and other players. And it's like, that's not enjoyable. It's boring. It really is. It's dull. And I'm dreading a France versus England final because we might as well just all go home and just wait for the penalties. Because
Stevie and I are busy that day.
Well, yeah, I can imagine. But it's just, you know, it's like this France team is performing so much less than some of its parts. Mbappe must be getting frustrated because he's barely seen the ball. So I do think the players will be thinking, you know, once the games are finished, yes, the win is important, but you've got to enjoy it. And I know it's different at the professional level. It's all about getting the job done, but you have to enjoy it. And I don't think the fans won't be enjoying it. The players can't be enjoying it, but Deschamps will be thinking, great, got another 1-0 win. Fantastic. We've bored the pants off everybody, but we're through. So, you know, I think the next game, if they go through Portugal, I mean, that could also be quite a hard watch because Portugal can, you know, frustrate. And if it's Slovenia, well, again, you know, it's going to be grim. But it's the tournament of teams that are underperforming, isn't it? Apart from Spain, so we'll see what the next round brings.
It's kind of strange to watch Griezmann standing way out on that right hand side, and doing. He actually did. He was more constructive defensively than he was going forward. Now, I certainly hope that's not by design, but it doesn't feel right. It doesn't look right watching him out on that right hand side. I was sitting watching it, hoping that he was going to get moved back into the middle, and you can move Rabiot to the wide area and get Griezmann in the middle, because you know Kante's going to do the work of 2 or 3 men, I just found it strange to look at Griezmann sitting on a wide area, particularly when they weren't able to create anything.
Going back to last season, Stevie, Atletico Madrid, I probably commentated on them 20 or more times. He never played there. He was always in a more withdrawn role, or he was up with Morata, playing off Morata, one up, one off, but not from the right-hand side. So, look, Didier Deschamps knows his players better than we do. This is the formation that he's come up with. And they could easily, I'm not saying they could bore their way to the title, because there's going to come a game you would think they're going to have to open up and be a bit more expansive. Maybe that's going to require, Stevie, the opposition to score first to see what France really have.
Yeah, but I think I'm with Huggy on this. It seems like Deschamps doesn't really care. It's about winning.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's about winning. And if France go on and win this tournament and either scrape by or...
See what happens when the Gremlins decide they've had enough of Stevie Nicologi.
Well, yeah, maybe Didier Deschamps has made an attacking move and pulled
He's back. I was going to say, has the dog eaten your cable, but you're at work, and you don't take Haggis the dog to work. So what's happening?
I do. I have no idea. But no, as I was saying, I don't...
Great point as well.
He's not interested. He's not going for style points. He's going to win the tournament. And the fact that he set up with Griezmann where he was kind of tells you that.
Yeah. It is what it is.
I just wonder, you look at that squad and they have got some great players, but something like Michael Elise, who we know is a French under-21 international, he would have brought something very different to this squad. Yeah. He would have brought a bit of pace, a bit of adventure. But Deschamps is very loyal to his players that he's used before. It's a bit like Southgate, really, that reluctant to make too many changes to what he thinks is a system that works. But I do think that, France, over the years, we've associated France with some great players, some exciting teams, Thierry Henry, Platini, all these great players. But this team, it's got Mbappe, but it's just like, this isn't like watching France. But then Deschamps has been around a long time. He knows it works. But, you do think that when they're playing against the top team, they'll have to come out of the shell a bit and give us something. But maybe they haven't got it. Maybe what we've seen in the game so far, they've only scored 3 goals. One was a penalty, one was an own goal, and even the one today was deflected. So they're not cutting loose. They're not giving us what we expect France to give us. So, I'm not exactly looking forward to the quarterfinals. It'll be probably the same story again.
Yeah, you mentioned the goal scorers so far, 2 own goals and a penalty kick that I think Mbappe scored. So they haven't scored from open play. But the thing is, Stevie, you've played enough times and you've watched enough football to know that it's pretty comfortable for a coach if you just need to score 1 goal, because defensively they've been all right. And Theo Hernandez coming forward up that left-hand side, I mean, the energy he's got. You're a fullback. You were a fullback back in the day. That's not an easy role to play. It's as a wing back, you're a bit more advanced. But when you're a fullback, asked to play left back, left wing back, left midfield, left wing, that's a tough shift, isn't it?
Well, it's a tough shift if you don't know what you're doing. I think that's the point. And I think the way France play the game, they all know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. Now, they're maybe not doing it to the standard that we think they're capable of as a team and as individuals, but they're all doing enough that they're not losing games and they're winning games. And so they've kind of bought into this philosophy that Deschamps pretty much has put into them, that this is not about us, this is not about being fancy, this is not about playing silky soccer. It's about winning, because that's the only thing that matters. And that's the kind of attitude they have. And regardless of where he puts them and where he asks them to play, they're all talented enough and have the mental attitude that they can do the job, whatever it is they're asked to do, and they actually do the job. I mean, you can't fault them today.
No.
They all did their job, and they won the game. And it's just the France way right now.
Yeah, it is. I'd swap. I'd definitely swap them and still be there. But yeah, but that's the way it is. I think, Augie, it's time for a pile-on from a Belgian perspective. Okay, so group stages: Slovakia, Romania, Ukraine. That should be 9 points out of 9. They only scored in one of those games. They didn't score again today. Do they have the right players and the wrong coach, or is the golden generation now a thing of the past?
Yeah, I think we're at the tail end of the dregs now, the golden generation, aren't we? And I think if you take out Kevin De Bruyne, then there isn't really a golden generation, because I don't think Romelu Lukaku, despite the goals he scores at international level, is in the same league as some of the players that have gone before. So I feel sorry for De Bruyne. He gave it everything. He was trying to carry the team to something, and in many ways, it was like watching Steven Gerrard with Liverpool back in the day, when Gerrard was so much better than everybody else, but couldn't quite lift the team to the success that the players around him probably should have delivered. And I think De Bruyne is the same. He's 33 a couple of days ago, so this might be the last we see of Kevin De Bruyne. I hope it's not. I hope he stays around to the World Cup in 26. But he might look at it and think, these players aren't anywhere near the players that I've played in the last 10 years, and it's almost the last man standing in many ways. So Belgium aren't what they were, and the coach isn't up to it. Tedesco, I don't think he's anywhere near the level that an international coach should be. So, yeah, I'm not surprised Belgium are out. I did wonder if they had a kind of a sting in the tail that the players they've got that could have given some, Vertonghen's getting on, Wout Face isn't good enough. They left out Thibaut Courtois, the best goalkeeper in the world. So, I don't know. I just think Belgium have had the day, and it's going to be a long way back, especially if De Bruyne calls it a day.
Stevie, when you look at Group E, and they had one win, scoring 2 goals in that one game. When they played Ukraine in the last game, near the end, they played keep ball, and the fans were going nuts. They knew that second spot would be France. France had already secured their spot, so the second team in that group would face France.
I think you're giving France too much credit here, by the way.
But regardless, right? You want to win the group. You don't want to face France. It would have been the Dutch, I think it would, because Romania won the group. But I think caution has been the key word in this tournament.
Mark, we had this argument on the show after the game. And the fact is that if Belgium had gone for this and lost a goal on the break, they would have been out of the tournament. And at the end of the day, we're talking about France, about their attitude towards the game and how it's about winning. And so when you're in a position that Belgium were in, it's about getting through the group. The whole fantasy and the whole dreaming of winning the group and getting an easier draw is fantastic theory. But the practical side of it is you don't take a chance. You're not going to gamble your spot in the knockout rounds by going for it and losing a late goal on the break, and you're not even through. You're out. You're going home. So listen, the fans may have known what the situation was in terms of winning the group, but from a professional point of view, there's no question on the field they did the right thing and holding on to what they had, regardless of who the opposition is, when the next round comes along. That's just the truth of the matter, and it's what every professional side should do. You don't gamble with being in the knockout stages by trying to keep the fans happy and try to score a goal. No, not professional.
They had 85 minutes before that to score the goal, and they didn't. So fair's fair. Right, there's more games still to come. We've got the team news in from Portugal against Slovenia, and we're going to look ahead to tomorrow's 2 games. We'll be joined by Fresha Cousinho Arias after the break to look ahead to those games. Portugal against Slovenia still to come today. We will give you the team news shortly. Delighted to say and welcome in Fresha Cousinho Arias to look ahead to what's going to be the game of the tournament tomorrow. Get us out of our misery. Get us out of our slump, having just watched that France-Belgium game, Fresha. And tell me how excited you are as the Dutch prepare to face the Romanians.
Yeah, I'm quite excited, to be honest. It felt like a decade to wait for a week after such a terrible game against Austria. And I mean, yeah, that should have been the case for the players and also for the coach. There was the possibility to talk to the coach last couple of days. Just today, he had the press conference, but no shocking news. He said he's not going to change a lot. From the sources I have near the team, I know he's going to change 2 names. Compared to the game against Austria. So Dumfries is going to play again. He wasn't playing against Austria due to his hamstring. So he's going to play again instead of Geertruida. And we will see Xavi Simons in the starting 11 again as the number 10. And Malen will also start. And yeah, I mean, not really a surprise that Joey Veerman is not going to play. Not sure if he will get another chance anytime soon. When Koeman is still the coach. But yeah, it was a long week after such a terrible game. But yeah, it was a reality check, and at the same time, you could also feel people taking the positive from that game that they played really bad. Everybody on an individual level played really bad, but yeah, there were still a lot of chances, and we had a chance to get a draw and maybe even to win. So let's call it an off day.
Are you happier facing Romania than Belgium, who you would have faced if they'd won the group?
Yeah, I think you could be happy with Romania. I expect them to make it a really physical game and put a lot of energy and passion in it. And well, the Dutch can have a hard time facing those teams, but if they try to keep out of those physical moments, I think they are quite happy facing the Romanians. It's something that one of the journalists said at the press conference of Romania, and they were not amused, and they said it was a leak of respect from the Dutch team. And I'm not sure which journalist asked the question, but it was not a good thing to do because they were quite fierce and had a lot of energy already, and now even more.
Augie, you're at this game tomorrow, and there's a chance that if the Dutch get through, and if Austria beat Turkey, well, it's not a chance, it will be a repeat of what we've just seen, and that was the Austrians beating the Dutch by 3-2. Are you expecting a similar open-type game in this one, or are you expecting more caution like we've seen in a couple of the games so far in the knockout stages, Augie?
I think it... Oh, sorry, yeah.
It's okay.
Your turn.
I think it's quite an open game. I think Romania are going to go for it. I think that's what they've done. I think they probably realise that the Dutch can be got at, and I think the Dutch are quite open as well. So I saw the opening game against Poland, and the Dutch, I don't know, they can pass the ball around like they always can, but they haven't got a cutting edge. So I think the Romanians will think, well, we can take a chance against the Dutch because they're not going to hurt us. I mean, Cody Gakpo's had a good tournament, but Memphis Depay hasn't. So if I was Romania, I'd be quietly confident. I still think the Dutch will win, but I think Romania can take this one. And I think it's been the side of the draw full of shocks, hasn't it? So let's see. But I do favour the Dutch marginally, but Romania could pull off a shock.
Stevie, what about the defence of both sides so far? The Dutch didn't look great against Austria, conceding 3 goals. And the Romanians have had their good days and they've had their bad days as well. Who do you favour in this one?
I think I'm going to go with the consensus. I think that, considering the experience and, yeah, they haven't looked as though they've had a cut on the edge, the Dutch, but, they've still got guys that on their day can win the game for them, whether it's Malen or Simon or Depay or Gakpo, if they get to a level of consistency throughout the 90 minutes, then I think they'll have too much for the Romanians. But it is tight. There's no question. If the Dutch can use that maturity they have over the Romanians, then they should be too much. There should be too much for them. But you know what? When you've got young legs, you've got an innocence, you've got a desire. I mean, all the pressure's on the Dutch. If the Dutch lose this game, then it's a catastrophe for them. If the Dutch win this game, well, it's Romania. It's a young team. We're supposed to beat Romania, and then they march on to the next round. So I think the Dutch are definitely favourites, but it's a tight margin. There's a possibility for an upset here.
Augie, the best games for me that we've seen in the tournament so far featured those with the bravest coaches and those whose players are willing to take a chance. And have a go and just kind of forget what might happen at the other end and just see what can happen. And when you've got Nikolai Stanciu, who's one of my favourite players, playing for Romania, they're not going to sit back. Do you expect them to have a go at the Dutch, knowing that they can get at this back line?
I thought you were talking about England, Gareth Southgate for a minute then, Mark, but obviously not. Yeah, listen, I think Romania will go for it. I think they've got nothing to lose, apart from obviously they have got something to lose. But I think they don't have to feel like Stevie says the pressure's on the Dutch. So Romania over the years have always produced really good technical players, really good attacking players. So yeah, I think this could be a really wide open game. But as Stevie says, that the experience that the Dutch have got should see them. So I think Virgil van Dijk's important in this game. He has to lead his team through it and try and negate the dangers that Romania pose. But on paper, the Dutch win quite easily. But I do think we're going to get a surprise quarter-finalist, and it could be Romania. All the games so far have gone to prediction, really. So I think it's either going to be Turkey that beat the Austrians, or I think it's going to be Romania that beat the Dutch. And I think Romania are probably the favourites to pull off a shock, even though they're not favourites to win the game.
Fresha, let's put this into context. On this half of the draw, one of these 6 nations will be in the Euro 2024 final. Either Romania, the Netherlands, Austria, Turkey, England, or Switzerland. Why do you think it might be the Dutch?
Yeah, I mean, they've been a bit lucky so far. And Giovanni van Bronckhorst said if Ronald Koeman is about to fall, he's falling over a Rolex. That's one of his quotes, since he's so lucky. And yeah, this is what stands out for the coach. I mean, if you look at that side of the tournament, it doesn't make sense at all. And I'm hoping that the Dutch will go through. And then actually, to be honest, I'm hoping that they will face Austria again, because then I would be really looking forward to see the plan of Ralf Rangnick again in just a couple of days facing the same opponent. It will be quite interesting to see what Ronald Koeman will do then, because sometimes he gets, a few people say that his tactical plan or his tactical ability is not the way it should be as such a big coach, such a big name. So yeah, I'm actually really hoping that they will face each other again in the next phase.
Well, enjoy the game tomorrow, Fresha. Yes, Steve.
Mark, we can't let that go. We have to
the
give
Rolex,
the Scottish equivalent of the Rolex,
the Casio,
would be falling. Would be falling in the River Clyde, which runs through Glasgow. Fresha,
coming out with a salmon in your mouth.
You're coming out with the salmon in your mouth, and I can assure you there are many different things in the Clyde, but certainly not salmon.
Or Rolexes. Trust me, there's none of them in there either. Fresha, thank you. Enjoy the game tomorrow. Just a quick reminder, if you wouldn't mind, you're expecting the Dutch to make 2 changes. Can you confirm what you think those will be for the game tomorrow? Against Romania.
Yeah, so Dumfries will start instead of Geertruida as a right back, and then Xavi Simon will start as a number 10. So Joey Veerman will start from the bench, and Malen is again one of the strikers from the right side.
Okay, thank you to Fresha. We'll catch up with you again soon, and good luck against the Romanians tomorrow. The other game is Austria against Turkey. And Oggy, if the Dutch beat the Romanians, then the only chance of a shock remaining would be Turkey over Austria. But would that be much of a shock? And what chance do you think it has of happening?
I think Austria beat Turkey 6-1 recently. And I must admit, I saw Turkey against Portugal. I was really disappointed. I thought, the Turkish fans are amazing, best fans of the tournament, but the team totally opposite. Obviously, Arda Güler is a superstar in the making, but I just thought Turkey were limited. And I think if Austria are anywhere close to what they were in the group stage, that Austria win this quite easily. So, Austria are kind of a surprise team so far, but I think they're strong favourites to win this game and face probably the Dutch in the quarterfinals. But Turkey will have a lot of support. I mean, you can't really overstate how many fans they've got in Germany, because I think 7 million Turks live in Germany, or people with Turkish heritage. So they are massively supported, and that can be a good thing and a bad thing. But it didn't really work for them against Portugal. And I saw that game; it didn't make any difference. So I think Austria win this game quite comfortably.
Stevie, one of the games of the tournament was Turkey against Georgia. It's probably one of the games that had the least expectation of anything happening in it. And it was a brilliant watch. Do you expect a similar type of open, lots of goals, or now that we're in the knockout stages, is it a kind of, we'll just be a little bit more cautious than we have been?
Well, the answer is I don't know, because the Turks, I mean, they rely on playing on emotion. They got through with that big crowd behind them, and just put them on a wave of emotion that helps you run and challenge and put yourself in danger and put your head in places where you shouldn't. But sometimes Turkey can go the other way, and if they don't light that fire, then you don't get much from them. So I don't know what to expect from Turkey. On the other hand, I think we all know exactly what we're getting from Austria. They just go along at the same pace, with the same structure, with the same desire. You know exactly what you're getting. As I said, I don't think you know what you're getting from Turkey. If you get the Turkey that's on that wave of emotion, then they could win the game. But if you're a betting man, you've got to go with Austria, because you know what you're getting.
Yeah.
Mark, as well, I think it's important to stress that Hakan Çalhanoğlu is missing. He's suspended, so the best player's missing as well. So that is a massive hole in the team.
And when we look back on this tournament, there's been a lot of cautious games, but I think it might be the tournament we look back on as that was the breakthrough when a lot of the coaches decided to give youth a chance. Arda Güler of Turkey, look at what Lamine Yamal is doing, and some of the 20 and 21-year-olds that are taking this tournament by storm as well. So looking forward.
Don't forget Kobbie Mainoo. I know you're Scottish, but you have to give Kobbie Mainoo his credit.
Who? Okay. Who's he? Never heard of him.
We will end today with looking ahead to the game that kicks off in around half an hour or so. Portugal taking on Slovenia. Here's the Portuguese lineup. Diego Costa in goal, João Cancelo, Ruben Dias, Pepe and Nuno Mendes, Bruno Fernandes, João Palhinha, Vitinha, and a front three of Bernardo Silva, Cristiano Ronaldo, or Rafael Leao. Oggy, it seems like you're desperate for a shock in one of these games. You've seen Slovenia up close against England. Can they trouble Portugal today?
I don't think so. I mean, famous last words. I think this is the game that will be the easiest to predict. I think Portugal win this quite easily because there's always a focus on Ronaldo, but Portugal got some good players. Bernardo Silva, Bruno Fernandes. You talked about the defence. I can't see how Slovenia win this game unless they play for penalties and take it all the way. But Portugal should have too much, even with Ronaldo playing. Sorry, guys, I'm going to get abused now. But even with their 10-man team, they should beat Slovenia.
You do it to yourself. You go looking for it.
I've got to be honest.
They don't like it when you have a go at them. They don't. But he's due a goal. Is he going to get a goal today, Ronaldo, Stevie?
Probably. Listen, if Portugal play the way they're capable of, then they're going to get more. They're going to get a few goals. And if Ronaldo's on the field, surprise, surprise, which he will be, then he'll probably get one. But I'm with Oggy. I wouldn't start him either. So I'll take some of the pressure off Yogi. Send somebody my way. There's no upset here. I'm sorry. There's no upset here.
Well, just give us goals here. Just give us lots of goals. We need some effervescence today.
We'll have 2 or 3 goals.
After that England after the England game yesterday, which England did well to turn it around, but it was a dismal watch. That France game today was not good. The fans of European and world football are looking for a game that they can look back on and think, that was a proper knockout stage game. Maybe it's Portugal today, maybe it's the Dutch-Romania tomorrow, or Austria against Turkey. We will be back tomorrow to look back on the early game and preview the final knockout stage match. My thanks to Fresha, my thanks to Mark Ogden, and to the wonderful Stevie Nicol. We'll do it all again tomorrow. And a reminder, ESPN FC tonight on ESPN Plus in the United States. Bye for now.